Hello, everybody. Welcome back. YouTube.com/Geek Aloud. This is the gaming enforcement agency at our new settled-in time for the winter baseball training season that's happening on Thursday instead. So we've moved it to Tuesday night so I can also get baseball training in. I'm joined by Unky Dunky in the second slot this evening. How are you, mate?
Mate, I'm doing very well. It's good to see you liked MLB The Show so much you started playing baseball.
It's true. It's a recruitment's dream, that game. It's an absolute recruiter's dream. How you been, man? You been gaming your thumbs off, I hope?
I have. I've come off night shift as well, so I'll try and put in my best performance. But no, I've definitely been getting some games in as well, Troy. Don't worry.
Good work, mate. Speaking of night shift, that's exactly where Bully is this evening. So unfortunately, he's offline for G.E.A. I hit him up. I asked him, hey, man, do you want to turn on the body cam and just tune in live as you're kicking indoors in real life? He hard passed on that one. So we've got just the offline image from Bully this evening. But the rest of the show actually is games, interrogation, and deliberation. We have three, count them, 1, 2, 3. I'd call that a meal, Unky Dunky. What do you reckon? Entree, main meal, and then the dessert? Does that sound good to you?
Why not? Sounds good to me.
All right, then, mate, you've got to put on your hat, and we will hunt down the most wanted for the upcoming week of video game action, followed by the news. How many newsroom doors have you been managed to kick in between coming off of night shift and getting into the chair this evening?
Oh, mate, I've only managed 2. That's how tired I am. My foot's tired,
Totally.
man. I'm tired. 2 doors, mate. I'm done.
Fair enough, mate. Absolutely fair enough. Viewers, you are welcome to chat along with us in real time as it's a live Let's nothing. It's a live video games podcast stream on YouTube. Please chat along with us in that YouTube chat. We will get to the comments at the end of the show. It's usually Bully's patrol beat, but he's on a real one this evening. So he's not with us. We will do it at the end, tucked in nicely. We will get to those comments. So without further ado, let's get into games, interrogation, and no, wait. First of all,
I spent all week on duty.
You're back on duty, Unky. All right, now let's get into games, interrogation, and deliberation. First up this evening, Unky Dunky, please lead investigate away for the entree of the evening, mate. What are we dealing with?
Mate, for entree, we've got first Berserker Khazan, which is probably a game that I don't know if many people have heard about. I don't know if you have heard about it.
I have not heard about it at all, mate. You've got to fill me in from the beginning.
Yeah, so essentially this is a Souls-like game, a bit more action-y based. It's kind of, I know, coming from me who's, polished off the Platinum Trophy in Lies of P last year and haven't really had a Souls fix as good as that since then, and this sort of is definitely scratching that itch. I had the demo, I think a couple of months ago now, they released a demo for this, and one of the best things about, that I like about demos is when they let you transfer your save over to the main game. So
yep.
Was busily playing a demo of this to get my character ready for the main game, and I was not ready for how hard this game is.
Hardest Soulsborne yet, is it?
It's up there. I mean, it's still pretty early. I'm thinking like the mechanics that it's given me and what is going to be the game, and it keeps unlocking more and more. And I'm up to a sort of hard stop now. I've sort of fought the main first boss, and then I think now I'm actually at the main first boss, which is the first real reality check that I'm getting. And I was just before going live tonight, I actually almost had him. I had him in sliver of health like this, Troy. I was that close. The heart was pumping. The sweat was pouring off my brow, but I just couldn't get it done. So I'll be eager to get off this show and have a crack at him again. But
I assumed you just strolled into the studio from your gym, mate. The sweat was pumping so hard.
Usually I would, but no, it wasn't that sweat. But no, this is awesome. It's getting me all those vibes of the Souls-like game, which we know I like, and you like as well. And obviously the old man hands would probably find it harder and harder to play these games these days. But
absolutely,
I reckon you'd probably do better at this than just your standard platformer game. So
that wouldn't be hard.
This is probably easier for you than something like Astrobot or even Split Fiction. So no, so far loving it. The graphic style in this game is really unique. It's sort of like it's coming from it's sort of anime. It's sort of cell shaded, but also realistic as well. It's got a really good. The world looks realistic, but then your character's sort of cartoony.
He looks very He-Man-esque. He's giving me He-Man vibes.
He does look a bit He-Man, but he's voiced by Anthony Starr. I think his name is
Anthony Stark, aka Iron Man.
No, I'm probably getting his name wrong, but he's the guy that voiced the main character in Final Fantasy 16.
That guy's amazing. I thought that was Ben someone. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Ben Starr could be Ben Starr. We'll have to fact check that later, but no, he hasn't got as much to work with here so far. The dialogue's quite limited for the actual character of Khazan. I think he got brought on pretty late in the piece. I think it was going to be a silent protagonist, and the way the story's going, he's got a few, voice lines and stuff to use. So, but he's obviously he's a very good voice actor. So anytime he is delivering his voice lines, he's very good. But no, the combat in this game, I think where it shines, I think it's linearity.
Unky Dunky, we're having technical difficulties. You're dropping in and out. Your pitch is freezing, and we're dropping in and out of audio. So just repeat back if you could the last maybe 10 seconds. We missed it. Sorry.
No, that's all right. Hopefully it's all fine now. But I was just saying the sound effects and stuff in this game are just insane. Like the feedback you get from just any of the weapons, it just feels really good and sounds really good to play. Like it's in terms of, and what I was saying before I cut in and out, the world design is a little bit more linear than, say, a Dark Souls. And for what I get at the moment, but I know it's very early in the game, so it might open up a bit. But it's all about that combat. The combat is so visceral, and like the sound effects, everything's meaty. You really feel the hits. I think a lot of these games can sort of rise and fall on that feedback you get from the weapons and that combat feel. And I think this has nailed it.
How's the DualSense 5 treating you? What's the speaker doing, and how are the triggers?
Yeah, no, you get really good feedback in the controller, not too much as well. Like it's not going to hurt your hands too much. Like every pull of the trigger, like you can change the controls. I think defaults to your square and triangle as your like action buttons to attack.
Yep.
So like more of a Devil May Cry, but I've flicked it to the R1 and R2, more Dark Soulsy style, and I think that's working better for me.
Yep.
But like the amount of times you can parry, the parry is so satisfying in this game. It's very Sekiro-esque in terms of parrying stuff and knocking down their like their meter below their health to sort of chip away at that. Once you get that, you can land a visceral attack to do huge damage. So it's very satisfying like that. Don't think it's quite, or at the moment, as punishing as Sekiro felt at the start.
Does it have the grappling hook similar?
No grappling hook, no, not at the moment. You can throw a sort of this spear thing, but as I said, it keeps unlocking new things, mechanics as I go. Like you only unlock the first lot of weapons, which is like a dual axe and sword at the start, and as you go through the story, then you unlock the great sword, then you unlock the spear. So you get your three main types of weapons, and then you can unlock better variants of that, kind of like a Destiny, so different color schemes for higher versions of that weapon. And eventually you unlock a blacksmith, and you can upgrade your armor and upgrade your equipment, which I'm not at yet. I'm thinking that'll probably come after I get past this first stopgap of this first major boss. But I'm really impressed with this so far. This is definitely a Souls-like experience that I wasn't expecting to get this early in the year, and by all accounts, all the reviews are coming out, and it's, everyone's giving it between the 8s and 9s as well, which is, I think, what Liza P got back in the day, and it ended up being one of my favorite Souls-likes of all time. So I've heard it does get very, very hard, and it's very, even the developers of the game have come out and said you just got to get good and finish the game.
I love it when they say that. Throw the challenge out.
The fact they also said that, though, they actually do offer an easy mode, so you can flick you beat the first boss, and then it goes, do you want to keep it at this difficulty, or do you want to drop it to an easy mode? So
do they sting you at the time? Is there some sort of insult in the way they've worded it?
No, not really. They're actually really nice. Let's go. If you're enjoying the how it is now, if you're good at action games, then keep it on this. If you want more of the story and you don't want to be frustrated as much, go to the easy mode. But you can also change at any moment in the game. So if you are struggling, you can drop it down to easy, but you do have to stay on that easy. You can't jump back up again.
Yes,
okay. So I think
I'll be very interested to know how the trophies go on that front. Like, are there different trophies for beating the game hard and easy? I'd love to know that.
They don't. Normally, games are pretty good at telling you if that's going to be the case. If you do drop it to easy, you won't unlock trophies. But this doesn't say anything like that. It just says you get the same experience. It's just easier. But there might be trophies up, that you unlock for beating it on normal as well. So you probably get both those trophies if you finish it on the normal difficulty. So but there's no harder difficulty than the normal phase. So whether you finish it as New Game Plus, I don't know. I don't think so at this stage, but it probably is something they can add. And to add, this game does not come out until the 28th, I believe, in Australia, but you can pay the deluxe edition and get it that 3 days early, which is what I've done because I was enjoying the demo so much. I wanted to have a crack at the main game and have all my demo stuff transferred just to make sure that works. So no.
Sorry, just to clear up, you've got the full game now, or you've got to wait?
No, I've got the full game now. So it unlocks. Unlocked as of midnight tonight if you pre-order the deluxe edition. So, no, very much worth it. It's one of my favorite things about pre-ordering games. If they don't give me that 72-hour early access or a week early access, I generally won't do it. It's one of those ones that will get me in. I'll get a couple of extra, cosmetics and stuff, but that 72 hours early gameplay to feel like I'm playing it before everyone else is just, I don't know, it's just that icing on the cake.
Can I jump in on that and say that is, I think, where Assassin's Creed Shadows let itself down? They didn't do the pre-order early access, so I didn't bother.
Yes.
And then I ended up purchasing it physically for, I think I saved myself like $22 or something by purchasing it physically. Had they have just done the digital deluxe edition, get your early access, as you were just saying, they would have just totally cleaned up on me. But I don't know why they missed that easy layup.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I was almost expecting it. I think very Ubisoft thing to do to even do like a 7-day early access and stuff. And I was like, surely if you paid $159.95, you get early access for Assassin's Creed. But no, it wasn't to be, because they probably almost could have got me, to be honest. But
they would have got me as well, man. They just left money on the table on that one.
Yeah, no. So, but anyway, I mean, they did it with this game, and they also do it with another game coming up in Most Wanted as well. So we'll talk about that soon. But no, so far, loving my time with this. Is more of an early impressions. I haven't played it anywhere near enough to give a score or give a review, but just so far, very impressed with what I'm playing so far.
Well, I'm loving what I'm hearing, mate. You might get me. Bully stung me 2 weeks ago and then last week as well on a purchase.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. You might have just done it for me with this one, mate.
Yeah,
there's a trend forming this year on G.E.A, and I'm a little terrified of it.
Just remember early access, Troy.
I know, early access. It sounds appealing. All right, buddy, should we move on to game number 2? The main meal, if you will?
A main meal, let's do it.
All right. It is Assassin's Creed Shadows. The install's up on the channel. I've thrown 3 hours and a half, 3.5 hours, I said that backwards, at it so far. And I'm going to say, I've read it a lot online, and I can confirm this game running on the PS5 Pro with the PS5 Pro Enhanced, best looking game. It is absolutely superb. Check this out. This is the first, synchronization point you can unlock. And the frame rate doesn't drop to my eye at all. It just rock solid and looks absolutely breathtaking.
Troy,
They've nailed it.
You can say, because Bully's not here, it's probably the first biome you've been to as well.
It is the first biome I've been to. Not the first cutscene I've seen, though. My gosh, do they load up? And I don't know if it's through the whole thing. As I said, I think I'm only 3.5 hours in, 3.5. But I feel like maybe 2 of that hours has been cutscenes. It is so cutscene heavy, speak of the devil, in this game. It's mind-blowing. And I'm not dissing the story they're telling at all. The story itself is quite compelling, but my God, does it have to be such large servings so early on? There is so many times in this cutscene I'm like, all right, let's wrap it up. I just want to be out there stabbing people. Like, come on. Move it along. Do we have to drag it on? That being said, look at the art style here. And then the way they transition this, because it goes from this cutscene modern to a flashback to her dad. And as the camera pans around, it goes black and white. And it's just one of the most breathtaking art-directed cutscene transitions I've seen into a flashback ever in video game history. So tip of the cap to him. I love it. First question, excuse me, for you, Unky. I know you've been playing it as well. Where'd you spend your skill points early days?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I put it into some of my weapon stuff and the shinobi skills, I think. So I've now unlocked the double assassination. So I've got the weapon. I think you have to have a certain weapon that to be able to do it. But then once you unlock tier 2 of your upgrades, you can unlock the double assassination. So I was working towards that and going around and doing all the sort of red little, I think it's the little red diamond things that you do.
On the screen now. Perfect timing, mate. You're nailing it.
There you go. Yeah, so I think I've just been knowing the shinobi stuff, because playing as Nawe as a shinobi, I think she's one of the fastest, best protagonists we've had. She's got some of the best parkour I think we've seen in Assassin's Creed. Like the way she moves, the way she moves. I know you can't climb everything like you could in Valhalla, but I think that actually lends better to the gameplay. That it's a bit more structured, a bit more. I know they've created these nice paths for you for her to go through, and it's up to you to sort of use the sandbox how you will, instead of just climbing any random tree. You have to sort of really think about your approach, and I'm loving her gameplay so far. And I mean, I did like Yasuke's gameplay, but you really only get that at the start in a brief moment.
I want to dive into that hardcore, mate. Sorry, continue.
No, so I was going to say, like, I'm probably 11 hours in now with Nawe, and I've still yet to go back to Yasuke and his samurai styles, but I think I'm going to enjoy the juxtaposition of those two characters and the way they play. Like, I know he's going to stay on the ground. He's less stealthy, but I know he's got range. He can get bow, and I really love a bow in a game. You know me, if I get the chance, I'm always a rogue.
Nathan Drake with a bow.
I've always got a bow. If I could put Nathan Drake with a bow, I would. But no, so I'm just looking forward to just being able to switch and change between those two. And speaking of switching and changing, I'm not sure if you've had it yet with the weather or the seasons changing yet?
I have. That's amazing. Sorry, let me just jump in for a sec because this is one of my gripes about the game. We've gone to a cutscene here. It's in a flashback and it's her first kill. And I hate that the developers didn't let us actually do her first kill. That drove me nuts. It's just a clean example of why so many cutscenes. This to me would have been way more impactful if it actually had been me pulling the trigger. That annoyed me. That being said, look at this cutscene. It's phenomenal. Like, they've absolutely nailed the cutscenes. I'm not griping about the cutscenes the way they are directed or anything. It's just the intensity of them and the frequency of them drives me nuts. And some of the coolest stuff that I've seen in the game thus far has been in the cutscenes, which also frustrates me. I'm like, oh, couldn't you guys have found a way to let
don't
me
worry.
Play it?
Don't worry. It is very story and cutscene heavy in the start, but it does loosen up a bit. Once you get into the open world, there's far less of that. Like, they'll have cutscenes where you're sort of meeting characters and stuff for the first time, but it's not quite so cutscene heavy. I think they do load that first bit of the game up with a lot of, story, and, they're setting up your characters, and I get why they've done it. It's not going to be for everyone. Like, a lot of people like yourself do like to jump straight into that gameplay.
Yeah.
I don't mind if a game is going to be like, 40 to 60 to 70 hours long. At the end of the day, that, start of the scene, if they've managed to set those characters up correctly and the story up correctly, it's not really going to matter by the time you're out in that open world and you're doing all those, Ubisoft collectathon things. Like, you're going to forget all about being stuck in those cutscenes for that first 2 hours. You're going to more think about the story and, setting up reasons why you're actually doing those things. And, from my experience to start, very heavy cutscenes, now less so. Like, I know every time there's going to be a big story beat, we're probably going to get more of it. I don't mind it because they are shot so well, and as you showed me the grayscale, there's a lot of moments in the game that do the exact same thing that work in the gameplay. Like, I took out one of the
sorry, mate, if I could just jump in while it's on screen. Just here, I just wanted to add that this is, I think they added it in Valhalla, but it's back to base building where you can, very SOCOM-esque. You can set up your base or your home base, I think they call it. Home base? That doesn't even sound right. Anyway, you can set up the buildings and then you can go in and upgrade and decorate the buildings, and that's just what you're seeing on screen now. Sorry, mate, back to you.
That's right. I'll jump in on you quickly because one of the best things I've found in the game so far relates to this is that normally, like, you want to pat dogs and pat animals in games. This game goes that next level, that any dog or whatever you pat that's new or animal, it then goes to your home base. So you'll be able to find them in your home base so you can collect animals, which I think is phenomenal because a lot of people just want to pat dogs, and this actually gives you a reason to do it. It tells you what type of dog or animal it is, and then it goes back to your home base. So I really enjoy that.
Little Pokemon-esque?
Yeah, a little bit like that. Just collect them all.
What
I was going to say about the black and white thing, I killed my first general thing, like the most Assassin's Creed recently, these big open RPGs where...
sorry, I have to interrupt one more time because it's on screen now. We were debating last week what they changed, and it's this cannon mode thing, on and off. And so I just wanted to clear that up. For anyone who watched last week, we were wildly speculating about what they'd changed, but as from what I can understand, the only thing is it's that cannon mode, which just means that during some of the cutscenes, you can pick a dialogue path, but with cannon mode enabled, there's no options to select the dialogue. It's the story as the writers intended. Sorry, Unky, back to you.
No, that's all right. I'll jump on that because I did listen last week, and I know Bully was talking about, I think he thought it was that they added Nawe as a character because they
clearly not,
but that's not the case.
Clearly
it's always been a dual protagonist game, and it's coming from the same guys that brought us Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which was the Fry twins. So I mean, they know what they're doing when it comes to dual protagonists. I can see why they've done it. Like, they're going back to our stealthy assassins after having Valhalla, and I think Yasuke is there to sort of tend to those people that like playing the game as a melee combat thing, so they get that and they can play the game like that. But for me, like, I don't know how I'm going to go past using Nawe with the, her grapple and the stealth ability she's got. Being able to go prone now as well, I think is great.
Yes, great addition.
But yeah, I'll jump in. I'll say the black and white thing because I've been trying to say it every time I interrupt.
Just one more time. No. Go, man, go.
No, I took out one of the generals, and when you take out one of the generals, it goes black and white with the blood splatter of red. So it's very sort of Kill Bill-esque, and I think a lot of the music cues that come in, I think, are really well done as well. The music has really blown me away, and I expected to sort of maybe think this is like not as good as Ghost of Tsushima, but I'm really enjoying the open world. I think, as you said before, the graphics in this game on the Pro just are absolutely insane, especially when you see it in autumn and summer. And then I'm yet to see winter, but the way it changes and the way the light bounces, especially during nighttime with the torches and stuff, the game just looks absolutely phenomenal and sounds phenomenal. Like, I don't know where the hate's coming from. I mean, I do. I know that people are complaining about woke and all this stuff and characters you can write romances. Yasuke, may not be female, but that's the choice they give you. You don't have to do that. Like I know in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, like you could choose to be with anyone you wanted to in that game, but that didn't seem to get the hate. So I don't know where this is coming from. I think it's just a lot of that Ubisoft hate that gets propaganda and stuff as well, and people just like the hate for hate's sake. So
that's very true.
And like they won't even have played the game at all, and they can already have their judgment. So like you just see all the trolls on the internet. Like play the game, and it may not be for you. You may not like the Ubisoft style. I do enjoy it. I've always enjoyed collecting stuff in Far Cry, always Assassin's Creed, and now that we're in Japan and it's been coined in my house, Japasson's Creed.
I love it.
I just that setting, I think since going to Japan 2 years ago and wanting to go again this year, like just that setting for me is just beautiful, and just the cherry blossoms in the thing, the way all the culture and stuff blends into the game. I think they've done a really good job. I mean, it may grate on me in 30, 40 hours time when I might be doing the same thing, but for now I'm really enjoying my time with it.
I've got to ask you, man, because I think you said you're 11 hours in, which is obviously far more than me.
Yep.
Now, I've made a lot of wild speculation in my own mind about where this narrative's headed. So spoiler alert for the viewers out there who don't want to know anything, but I'm going to ask a very pointed question because I've made some assumptions, and you're only 11 hours in, and maybe the turn's not going to come until hour 30 or 40. But can you tell me this? Is the male protagonist a Templar?
It's not made anywhere near clear at all at the moment. He could be. Like I think apparently, from what I've read, this is also a spoiler, but apparently all the Templar assassin stuff only really comes into it in the last sort of 5 to 10 hours. So, which I think's been a gripe on it, saying they haven't worked all that stuff in earlier. But I can see why they did that, probably leaning to the whole Japan thing. They didn't want to take away from that with the assassin stuff. But I mean, I do enjoy that assassin's backstory in the Templars. But
yeah,
I could definitely see them playing on something like that.
Yeah, in my mind, he's a Templar, she's the assassin, and then by the end of the story, I'm imagining you're a Three Amigos fan, yeah?
Mm.
By the end of the film, you're friends. I'm imagining that by the end of the game, she has turned him from Templar to assassin, and once he takes the assassin's blade, he's going to have to go and kill Old Mate, the ruler, and free the land from the Empire.
At this stage in the game, I suppose they're not even friends. I don't know how far you are in the story, but it seems like
not at all. I'm just making this up from the opening 2 hours intensive cutscenes. I'm like, all right, I think this is how it's going to go. He's a Templar, she's an assassin. They'll have an encounter at some point, and they've got to do the 3 encounter thing. Fight, he'll win. Fight, she'll win. Then they have the 3rd meetup, and you're thinking it's going to be a fight, and then no, they'll come to terms. He'll drop the Templar ways, become an assassin, and then he'll do the final kill on Old Mate Big Boss. That's where my mind's at. I'm thinking that's 30, 40 hours in. But
I think we've got a bit of time till we figure that one out, I think.
Anyway, that's just my wild speculation. And then if that turns out to be true, my follow-up question is, would this be the first time they've ever, 1, done the opening cutscene of a game with the bad guy, and 2, is this the first time they've ever put a bad guy on the front cover of a game? Over to you.
Well, probably. I mean, I don't see it happening. I think by hour 15, I think our 2 protagonists will probably be friends anyway, since you have to flick between them and work together. So whether something comes between them and then it goes to that, I don't know. But we'll have to wait and see. I think Yasuke is he's a real character from real life as well. So I don't think they'll lean too far away from his actual origin story and history. So if they do, that could get some people angry. But I don't know.
Yeah, anyway, that was my wild speculation. And then my final question for you, mate, and I am done. Obviously, I'm very much enjoying this game. Is this the first time that we've seen an assassin get the blade and not have to cut the middle finger off? What's going on there?
Yeah, I know. She doesn't. I mean, they kind of do it so nonchalantly as well. It's just like, oh yeah, you've got this blade.
I'm like, the original setup in the original trilogy with Desmond, being Old Mate on the outside and Ezio obviously on the. Oh, Ezio's up there. I could grab him. On the inside, it was a whole rite of passage. Once you've done enough training and you are now an assassin, bang, off comes the finger, bang, on goes the blade, and ka-ching, you're off to the races. And then they just kind of erased it from history, and it's like, oh no, you can just put the assassin's blade on, you don't have to lose a finger, and now you're an assassin. I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really mind it. It's something a bit different, but yeah, it does take away from that. Unless maybe once she becomes an assassin, they have to go, well, you've been getting away with your middle finger for far too long.
But I honestly thought my head canon, and I could be way off, but I thought the blade didn't work if that finger was there, because I thought the blade would come out and sever the finger off anyway.
Yeah, I think that's where they initially went with it. So.
Yeah, so I was a little bit upset as a lore fan. Like, obviously, I'm a big fan of the main character Desmond. Named my second born after him. I was that big a fan. And then to sort of erase the important bits of what I thought Desmond's arc was over that trilogy, I'm like, no, she's got to lose the finger.
Your other kid, Ezio, he was very unhappy.
Unfortunately, I can't see them both at the same time.
No.
They can't exist in the same timeline.
No.
But I'm loving the game. It looks phenomenal. And to second all your points, man, yes, it's old school Ubisoft. But to their credit, a lot of the menu options allow it to be far more Elden Ring. They've got the ability to turn off a lot of the navigation stuff. The only thing it's missing, and I know I'm being a bloody bit of a Sony fanboy here, but I wish they had the navigation with leaves option from Tsushima. That would be amazing, because I'm running around Japan and I'm like, where are my leaves? Where are my leaves?
I know. There's plenty of leaves flying around, because this game's atmosphere is crazy. There's always leaves and stuff flying around. There's animals everywhere in this game, which I think is awesome. But no, I do kind of miss that. They do kind of do their own thing with the navigation. Like, you don't just have a point now. I mean, you can put on navigated gameplay, but if you want to do it, you got to send your scouts out, read the hints about where this person might be, and then send your scouts out. And if you don't have any scouts, then you're screwed. You've got to either wait for the new season or replenish them somehow, get new ones, and then they can sort of show you where the bosses are or whatever. So I don't mind that. And I've been using that mostly to play the game a bit more immersive that way, than just following a marker on the map. And I think that's the intended way to do it. So it's going to take longer to play, but I think that's what they want you to do.
Absolutely. Did you get the bonus? This is the bonus DLC. I bought it with the physical edition I bought, and it came in the case as a code. It's, I don't know, the Shaggy Dog story or something.
I don't know if it was a pre-order. I got some pre-order bonuses, and I know I got some outfits and stuff for Nawe and Yasuke as well, which were quite cool, actually. And I mean, now that I'm not sure if you're far enough into it where you can transmog yet. You might not be.
No. Oh.
No. Eventually you can
I just unlocked the blacksmith back at the hideout.
Oh, okay. You might, it's weird. I was just playing the game. I was like, well, I know you can transmog, but it's not in here. I just went into a cave and it was just like, you realize you can transmog your outfit by holding triangle, and then it gave me the option in the menu to just like change the way everything looked. So whether it's just a time played or whatever, it's a mission that sort of sets it off. I don't know.
I was going to ask you on this one, because I'm not playing it in canon mode, so I've got the dialogue choices. But on that Shaggy Dog mission, I had the ability to either like attack the woman or like solve it another way. I chose to attack her because I'm like, I'm sick of these cutscenes. Let me do something. So I'm like, it's on. We're fighting. Get rid of this cutscene, which is what I did. But I was hoping that you'd done it and you'd taken the other route. And I was going to ask if the woman ends up dying anyway. But I guess you can't tell me if you don't know you haven't done the mission.
No, I think that's a great thing about this game. It does give you so many different options about where you want to go with the story and how you want to tackle your different objectives. So I think no one person is going to play this game exactly the same, which I think is quite cool.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And this is the final synchronization point I've got to show. And this is my final point. So I'll hand it over to you to wrap it up after this. But I don't know if you've hit up this temple yet. It's on the way to that first. We've already seen it in the footage, the bay thing. But did you go through here with the orange NPCs?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, because I think I'd cleared out all the
Did you slay them all?
I did, bro.
I thought maybe you would have spared him, but I went in there, swords are blazing. I don't think that's a phrase. I went in there, swords are blazing, and just cut everyone's throat and laughed maniacally the whole time.
Well, they do. They're
just standing there. Yeah, they're just standing there and they're sweeping, and I'm running up behind them like, you're not cleaning anymore. Game over.
Mate, he's sweeping one day, he's cutting your throat the next, so you might as well get in there first.
I do love that one of the NPCs has a sword and some sort of, it's either a fly sword of this bloke or a fry pan or something. I don't know what he was doing in the house, walking around with a sword and some sort of utensil. I don't know what was going on, but they were fun fights.
They are. You got to make sure you take out all those Daishu like samurai guys, because then you get the cool chest with all the legendary items in it. Yeah,
absolutely. That's my final points for the game, mate. I'm enjoying my time with it. Thumbs up to Ubisoft. Over to you for final points.
No, that's the same. I didn't know what to expect. I was kind of hoping it was good. You see all the hate, and then you play it yourself and realize, this is a good Assassin's Creed game. Like I've enjoyed them all, but really loving the setting. I'm really I liked Mirage when that came out. Was it last year before where they paired it back, and it was a bit more about the stealth. And
23, I think November 23.
Yeah, okay. So, but just being able to play as her, I think she's easily one of the best characters to play as an assassin since the inception of Assassin's Creed. I just think the gameplay with her, I think, is brilliant, and yet to be seen. Really, we've only sort of had a taste of Yasuke at the start, so I'll give you a report back on that once I can switch between the two.
Yeah, tell me, is he a Templar? I suspect he is. I'm onto him. You don't get one by me. All right, mate. Let's move on to this week's Most Wanted, shall we? No, wait. Game 3. That was only the main meal. Let's kick into the dessert section. My goodness. Over to you, Unky Dunky, for some WWE 2K25 action. Try and sell me on it. I don't think I'm going to purchase it. You're going to have to work pretty hard.
No, that's all right. This one won't take too long because it's essentially about the same as my review for WWE 2K24 because it's essentially the same game like they always are. But there are some improvements in this one. The graphics do look slightly better. The character creator, which I think we spent 40 hours alone in, myself and Ollie just playing that, is even better now.
And how's your Nathan Drake looking?
He's looking pretty good. I'll send it through to you. But no, just being able to get in there, like Ollie just loves getting in there and creating characters. He loves doing it. It's if not the best character creator going out there in terms of everything you can create, what you can do, and they've added more.
Does it top the last Saints Row game? I'm blanking. What was it? Saints Row Reloaded or whatever. The last Saints Row game.
Just called Saints Row, I think.
It had that massive character creator. Is it greater than that?
I think so. Like, and Saints Row is one of Ollie's other favorites that he plays and creates characters in. They've got some really good ones in that, but I think it's probably better than that. Graphically, you have to hold the button now to pin because normally pinning and grabbing other wrestlers, you have to use the right joystick on the thumbstick to pick them up or to pin them. But now you've got to hold the right trigger, then you do the thumbstick. Otherwise, you obviously rotate the camera. But still being able to get every perspective in the ring. When you go outside the ring, sometimes you couldn't see your character. Now you can just rotate the camera around. It just adds that extra bit of flair to the combat and stuff in the game. And I just really enjoyed that. They added the islands this time as well. What are you going to say?
Yeah, okay. No, it was a joke and it wasn't going to work. Keep going.
What, a Detroit joke not landing? Oh, no.
All right, I'll give it to you. Like a good endoscopy, you get to see all around the ring. Sorry, keep going.
That's not bad. I'll give you that. The new mode, the island, which is essentially like the the NBA 2K games. Always they added that sort of open world aspect. You can walk around and play different games. It's kind of that. It's open world, but your character runs really slow. You have to create a separate character to all your other created characters from like MyRise and stuff, which I think is weird. I don't know why you can't just import the same character you've created games against, the little fella or just against the computer and earn the points to unlock new wrestlers and stuff like that. So very much same as 2024, just a sort of shinier package. And, there's new cameras, the new campaign mode, which is, as you can see on the screen now, is the Bloodline. So that was the most recent storyline in WWE. And you actually start the game with the end of WrestleMania with Cody Rhodes winning and finishing the fight. So it's kind of cool the way they did it. I actually did watch the WrestleMania and they do it sort of, one for one on that. And it's kind of cool to see in the video game engine. But no, they've done a good job with it. I think they just gradually keep getting better. And I think the wrestling speaks for itself. The gameplay is just so good. It sort of harkens back to that in N64 wrestling days where the game's just fun to play. Like, there's not too many mechanics. There's more than an N64 game, but it's sort of simple to pick up and play and sort of a bit harder to master. But I just really enjoy that gameplay loop.
And speaking of MLB The Show earlier, did they add, like MLB The Show 2.5, have they added a first-person perspective for the wrestling?
No, there's no first-person perspective to wrestle in, but when you do play the Bloodline mode or whatever, you do special experiences with that. But I know you had a really good one with MLB The Show recently, so I don't know whether, maybe it's, better for this now. I might have to give it a go and see what kind of monstrosity I can come up with.
Give it a crack, mate, and let me know, because if they've done what MLB The Show have done, like, you're in for a treat.
I'll give it a crack.
Nice. Any final points, or should we move on to Most Wanted?
Let's do it. Let's move on.
All right, here we go. Most Wanted. It is, as I understand it, Unky Dunky, Adamfall. Adamfall? Yeah, I was going to call it Matterfall. No, Adamfall.
It is Adamfall. And
I know nothing, so you've got to paint the whole picture.
Well, I'm cheating a little bit because I say Most Wanted, but this is also a purchase the deluxe edition, get it 3 days early. So as Unky would do. Unky would have this game to play, and he's put in probably an hour and a half this afternoon in this one as well. So
Nice.
for everyone else, you can wait till Thursday, I think it is. But no, it's kind of Fallout-y meets Stalker meets Far Cry meets Immersive Sim. Like it's its own thing. It's made by Rebellion, the guys that did the Sniper Elite games.
Is it the Sniper Elite engine? That's what I was going to ask.
No, well, I don't know. I think it's prettier than that because I know the Sniper Elite engine. I remember playing the most recent one, especially on Xbox Game Pass. I'm not sure if it would look better on the Pro, but it was very
looks night and day better on the PS5 Pro, man. Because I played it on Game Pass and loved it so much, and knew it had the PS5 Pro enhancement. I purchased it on the PS5, and it was a flooring difference. It's honestly like a generation difference. Yeah, because that's playing on Xbox Series X versus PS5 Pro with the enhance. It's mind blowing. Yeah, because on the Xbox, I noticed there was a lot of flickering and like a lot of noise on the screen with the graphics. I was like, oh, this is kind of gross. And I was like, totally gone on the PS5 Pro enhanced.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's the case here. And I sort of maybe read the writing on the wall because I'm like, I can play it on Game Pass, but I'm probably not going to get the experience I want, and it's going to diminish my game experience. I'll probably put it down. I was like, or I could spend the money, which, you know, it's a lot more expensive than spending nothing, spending, you know, $100 on a game, especially to get it early. But when I saw that Pro enhancement, I'm like, oh, I've got to do it. And I think it's probably more worth it for me because I'm actually going to play the game now. Whereas if I put it on the Xbox, I'd be like, oh, I just put it down like I did with Sniper Elite. So
yeah.
The fact that I've come into this game, it doesn't look fully next gen, but it is a pretty game. Like as soon as you come out, you got like a Breath of the Wild moment where you come out of a bunker and you just see.
It's got the Fallout vibe.
Yeah, kind of. You walk out of the bunker and it's just like this greenery in the sky, and the skybox is really nice, and the gameplay is like I like Avowed-ish, but it's a similar sort of vibe with the smaller open world hub areas. But I think I find the exploration in this better, and the reward for exploring better. Like I found in Avowed, like the weapons and stuff, you're always the same. Nothing seemed more powerful enough. The damage you do on enemies didn't seem that great. But this one, like you'll kill a guy, you've got nothing, so you use your bare hands, all of a sudden you've got an axe. And this thing, if you wind up and hit someone, they die in one shot. If you pick up a bow and arrow, if that arrow goes in their head, they're dead.
Is it as satisfying as Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, stealthing into a camp late at night and then assassinating a bloke that, had you have taken him face on, he probably would have killed you, but you just sneak up on him when he's asleep?
It's probably not
game over.
So brutal with the difficulty, but it is hard. Like my first lot of group of enemies I found actually had a Molotov, so I just chucked the Molotov in the middle of all of them and set them all on fire, and then went and looted all their, ammo and stuff, which ammo is quite scarce in this game as well. I'm playing on the Survivor difficulty. You can customize all your difficulty, which I think is awesome. Like if you don't want to have as, tougher time survival-wise, ammo-wise, you can just pare that back if you want. If you want enemies to be easy, you can pare that back. So you can customize absolutely every aspect of the game, which I think is really good for accessibility.
Yeah, nice. What is the vibe for the old man hands? Are we doing a lot of L1 and R1ing?
You'll be fine, man. You'll be absolutely fine. It's a slow exploration game, but like they don't give you missions per se, which I really like. They give you these sort of clues and hints, and then you've got to sort of
wait. Are you saying there's a lot of reading? Because I'm
I wouldn't say a lot of reading because I'll generally just pick up notes for the achievement aspect of collecting everything. But the notes are very small, so they're like just a couple of paragraphs reading. It's like doesn't give you much exposition. It tells you sort of what's going on and where you sort of need to be. It's really good sort of open-ended gameplay where you don't really have any specific place to go. It's very Breath of the Wild in that way as well, where you kind of just make your own path. You can go whichever way you want. Like I started going one way and all of a sudden I found something, I was going another way. Then all of a sudden in a tunnel coming out, completely new area. Then I just walk into a church, which I read something about where some guy said he wanted to kill her. I walk into this church and there's just some chick, she's dead with a sickle in her. And then like the priest over the top of her talking about who killed her. But because I found the note, I had a dialogue option to be like, this guy wanted to kill her. Now he's like, no, you got to go find this guy, and he might be around this area. So they're all just sort of hints of where to go, not specific places. And it's up to you to find where they are. So
that sounds pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it's a bit more interesting than just like go here, do this. So I really, really enjoy my time. It's only been an hour and a half, but like from reviewers that I've seen on this game, are really enjoying that aspect of the game as well. And I think Rebellion, come out and said it started out as like just a passion thing. They'll just see how it goes, and it ended up turning into a fully blown game. And I could definitely see this going somewhere because they've definitely got the vibe right. I know some people will sort of wax on about some of the melee combat's a bit like simple, or like some of the enemy AI is not the greatest, but I mean, I don't mind if I'm having fun while killing these people and getting, looting their bodies, and I don't really care. And they've got good feet. You hit them with a shotgun, they go flying.
Nice.
Like, it's just very visceral combat. It's violent. It's, you know, pick up a cricket bat. What other game gives you a cricket bat?
I don't know, but I know one that gives you a baseball bat.
So, I mean, I know this is the most wanted, but this is seeming more like, you know, early impressions, but that's because I've already got it. But no, definitely put it, if it's not on your radar, definitely put it on your radar. If you enjoy
I've never even heard of it. Oh, actually, that's a lie. I think, was it in like an Xbox Direct or whatever the hell they call them?
It was in a Direct, and it was like, oh, it looks like British Fallout. So, but it's selling it a little bit short because it is kind of doing its own thing. There's no over encumbrance. You've got like a little thing.
Oh, no over encumbrance. Now my ears are up. What?
It's just got slots where you can put whatever you want in it, and then you find ability perk points and stuff to sort of upgrade your stuff as well. So you'll eventually find that you can craft better weapons and all that kind of stuff. But there's no encumbrance. You pick up whatever you want in terms of the stuff to make things, and you've got those slots. So if you find a baseball bat, a sickle, and a gun or whatever, you've got 4 slots. You can do whatever it is you want. So currently I'm rocking a bow, a shotgun, a baseball bat with nails in it, and something else. And you can quick map them as well to the D-pad. So that's just very, very good and intuitive. And I think I've only just scratched the surface with this game. So no, I'm very much looking forward to jumping back in.
Oh, you put it on my radar, mate. Much like, and I'm blanking on the name, but what was the Rebellion series? Not Sniper Elite, but the other one.
Army.
Yeah. What was it called? Was it Zombie Army?
I think it was Zombie Army.
Oh, anyway, whatever that was, that game was phenomenal. That was what put Rebellion in my head next to Sniper Elite. But it sounds like they've got a third iron in the fire. I'm very excited that it's Rebellion.
Well, they definitely do, and it's so different to what they've done previously that I don't know, I have to applaud them for just sort of stepping outside their wheelhouse and outside their box and just doing something different and just not worrying about being Ubisoft and having a collectathon, like doing their own thing with the way quests work. I think it's wholly unique, and in a game industry where a lot of stuff just copies and pastes, this is definitely feels different to other games like this.
And I don't think you've mentioned it. So how's the character creator?
There is none. You start as a character who has amnesia, so you don't know who you are or where you are or what's happened, and you've got to figure all that out. So, which actually kind of I like the old blank slate.
Yeah, okay, no, that's fair. That's fair. I love everything about it. It sounds like we're going to have to purchase 2 games, so good work, mate. Well played.
You're welcome.
Sorry, Jess. All right, let's go kick in a newsroom door, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okie dokie, who has the right to remain newsworthy this week?
We've already spoken about it tonight, but just another applaud to Assassin's Creed Shadows is the series' second biggest launch ever. This is from VGC. So they've come out and said, I think the biggest one was Assassin's Creed Valhalla previously before this, which kind of surprised me. I would have thought one of the other ones might have been, but Valhalla seemed to sell quite well.
Oh, come on, mate. Bring the hammer down. Who's topping that? Maybe Desmond aggregate?
I know you did enjoy that, but no, it's definitely sold very well to start off with, despite some of this negative feedback, but it's still, I think it's sitting in the low 80, 83 or something, maybe 82 on Metacritic.
I didn't check after you won our guessing game. I'm like, all right, Unky's won it with his 80. I think you said 88, and when I checked, it was 81. And I'm like, all right, Unky wins.
Yeah, in hindsight, I probably did guess too high. Like in hindsight, I probably would have guessed like about 83 or 84, just because I knew, you do have those haters out there that can generally bring the scores down. But it's sitting there, and I think it definitely deserves what it's getting at the moment in terms of its sales. And like as I said, who cares about the haters? If your game's selling well, does this save Ubisoft from, any potential buyout? I don't know. There's a lot of scuttlebutt around. They need to do probably something else on top of this, like just release Splinter Cell for God's sakes. It's sitting there. You've got Nale now. You can prove you can do really good stealth, and I just think they need to go back to Splinter Cell. I think if they did that, whether it's open world or just a really good Splinter Cell game, I think you will get so many people buying that game, and you'll get the love back to Ubisoft. And they just
couldn't agree more.
They make some weird decisions. We've got all these franchises on the cusp, but they put Sam Fisher in bloody everything except his own game at the moment. So
that's exactly right. And generally speaking, I'm not a big fan of the AI voice movement. However, if Sam Fisher comes back, it wouldn't be a hard sell to get me to think Michael Ironside should be the AI voice. Like, keep the voice of Sam the same, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked Blacklist, and that wasn't even Michael Ironside playing, and they cast a younger bloke to play a younger Sam Fisher, but the gameplay in that was unreal. Like, I've played that recently on, I think it's back compat, and it's only in 30 frames per second on back compat, which is kind of annoying because it'd be nice if it was 60. But playing that game is just unreal. Some of that combat and stealth gameplay, we haven't seen the stuff they do. I really enjoyed that mechanic where you tag them all, you hit a button and take them all out, like John Wick style. Like, we haven't seen that in a game since.
Oh, no, I disagree because I was playing Star Wars Outlaws today.
Oh,
And there's that where you know, L3, R3 when the adrenaline's up and you can tag, pull R2, bang, 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 you know.
Yeah,
So
but it's not the same as tagging him in stealth and then being able to do it from wherever you are. And
that's very true. That is very true.
And it's not Sam Fisher. I mean, let's be honest. Doing this stuff, it makes it 10% cool. I'm not even.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, but come on, Ubisoft. I know you've done well with Assassin's Creed, but let's bring back Splinter Cell.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. Splinter Cell, please give me some. All right, buddy. Story 2, please. What's Story 2 this evening?
Story 2, also from VGC, is Indiana Jones PS5 release date is confirmed. I don't know if I think you spoke about it last week, but I'm not sure if the date was actually confirmed.
No, we didn't have the date confirmed. Give it to me. What is it?
It's the 17th of April, so just around the corner for this. And I believe...
Early access?
Yeah, there is. Digital, I think, is 7 days early. I might have to fact check
Whoa,
that.
a whole week?
I think, I'm pretty sure the Xbox one was a similar thing. I think they did a 7-day early as well.
Nice.
And I mean, that was with Game Pass, but you paid, I think, the $29.95 for the deluxe upgrade for the early access. So something similar to that. And there was I don't know if you watched the trailer they brought out today, I think it was, with Nolan North and Troy Baker. So obviously the link to Uncharted, with Troy joining the treasure hunting team now. But it's a very funny trailer. So if you haven't watched it, go watch that. It's actually quite humorous between those two. And it's good to see Nolan North back. It just made me want more Uncharted, though, unfortunately.
That's a pro tip, mate. I didn't even know it existed. So I will go hunting for it after the show. Obviously, 2 big thumbs up for me. But as we've said in the past, I played through the first 3 levels, finished Egypt. Finished Egypt, but then sort of went, I'm just going to wait for the PS5 Pro Enhanced. I know you finished it on Xbox. We're both massive fans of the game, but I look forward to finishing his fight in about, 2-3 weeks?
Yep. Definitely go back to that platinum, I reckon.
Oh, yeah, boy. All right, let's move on to audience integration. And now that I'm looking up at my board, I realize we don't actually have a bumper for that. So I'll just go back to this button, shall I? Audience integration this week. I've lost my mouse. I need to flick a tap. Oh, God, I'm lost. Can you even find it, man? My mouse has gone for a walk.
I've got Nighthawk Gaming. I think
that's Bully. That's Bully. Hey, Bully.
Oh, Bully's working real hard, I see. You coward. You're just scared that number 2 was back. I don't need you below me holding me up, Bully. No,
this thing's trying to shoot you right at the minute.
We do miss you, Bully. Now, he's asking about what about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I'm not sure what he means, what about it. We did speak about it. So, I don't know what he wants to say.
Textual missed it. Sorry, Bully.
Yeah, obviously missed it. Sorry, Bully. So if you want to jump in there, otherwise, unless you're too busy at work, maybe we'll have to leave alone. But no one else in chat tonight. So that's okay. We can move on.
It's almost like I moved the show and didn't tell anyone, and then no one knew it was on. Maybe the marketing people need to pull their thumb out. Maybe
they need to. Yeah, that's right. I mean, next week will be Tuesday as well. So moving forward,
Tuesday, the entire baseball winter season is Tuesday.
All because Troy loved a bloody baseball game so much. To change the whole show around so he can bloody play baseball.
Indeed, we did. That'll do it for this week, folks. We are off duty. Sometimes I feel like I'm playing Russian roulette with my switcher. Maybe this one. Anyway, great work tonight, Unky Dunky. Thank you so much for accommodating my crazy schedule and coming forward 2 nights early. And I believe I'm right in saying you're joining us for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I should be, mate. I've got a bit of time off, so I shall be here, pretty much all nights, I think.
Perfect. And hopefully, fingers crossed, Bully will be back with us next week and he can explain to us his Valhalla issues.
Oh, no, who needs him?
Shots fired, Bully!
Oh, no, we do. Bully, we need you. We need you. We don't really.
All right, guys. Thanks very much for joining us this evening. Tuesday nights, moving forward, 8:30 for the Gaming Enforcement Agency. Unky, what else could you do with Geek Aloud?
Like it, subscribe it, you'll never miss it.
Oh, that was luck.
Hey, that's something.
Oh!
The player's play.
Old Uncle Donkey.
Gee, donkey.